Hey, it's Ash and I'm the vegan neuropsychologist. Today I'm talking about taking online health advice. So as a health professional, I totally get why people go online for health advice because it is simple and it is quick. We have so much information available to us at our fingertips. And I know that a lot of people say don't go online or don't look up anything online. I think it's an unrealistic expectation. I know that for most people who come and see me, they've probably Googled half a dozen things even before our first appointment. So that's why I wanted to create this video about things that you need to keep in mind when you're deciding whether to take online health info. So let's just get straight into it. So point number one is to know where the information is coming from. Think about mental health, for instance. A psychiatrist is going to have a very different perspective than a naturopath. And that's not to say that one perspective is better than the other. I'm not even saying that one is wrong and one is right. They're just different. And it's always useful to know the background of the person giving you advice because that means you can put it in some context. Now, point number two is, does the person giving advice actually know what he or she is talking about? And this boils down to training, credentials, but also to experience. Now, training and credentials are really important, but they're not everything. And I think we sometimes undervalue the role that experience can play. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you want to improve your running times. Now, you don't necessarily need to go and see someone who's got a degree in exercise physiology or who's got a degree in human engineering or biomechanics or anything like that. Maybe you just need someone who has got a lot of experience with helping people improve their running times. And maybe you look at their stats, maybe they've improved their own running times and they've helped lots of other people improve their running times. And you might decide that this is good advice to help you improve your running time as well. Now, obviously there are some situations where you definitely need to have, or you definitely want to have someone with credentials and training. So if you're seeking advice on whether to get a knee reconstruction or not, then you probably need someone who's medically trained, maybe someone who's a surgeon, at least they got training in orthopedics. So the third thing to consider is whether this person giving advice has a vested interest in doing so. And the classic example here is celebrity endorsements. So is the person recommending something because they genuinely believe it, or are they giving you that advice because they're being sponsored to do so? So obviously not all endorsements are bad. Sponsorship is not bad. It is if it causes people to act in unethical ways. And so I think it's always good to know if someone has a vested interest in the advice that they're giving. It doesn't mean that you disregard the advice, but you should always just keep it in the back of your mind. So number four, the fourth thing to think about when deciding whether or not to take health advice is the person taking the advice themselves, or would they if they had to? Again, classic examples. A doctor who gives health advice but who smokes cigarettes and is not making any attempts to improve their health habits. You've got to ask yourself, if this person is giving advice, why aren't they taking it themselves? If this advice is so good, then what's stopping them from doing it as well? And the fifth thing to consider is actually something to consider about yourself, and that is, what are the risks of making a bad decision? So I'll give you two examples here. Let's say you have a friend who's recommended a certain brand of shampoo, and you and your friend have similar hair types, so you decide to buy the shampoo and you try it out and you don't like it. So what's the worst that's happened? You've blown a few dollars, you go back to your old shampoo, and maybe you give your friend the rest of the bottle. Maybe that's not so bad. But what if it's a health condition and you're deciding about whether you should do surgery or take some medication or go down some other route? The cost of a bad choice could be really high, so you'd want to base your decision off something with a little bit more substance than just the opinion or the recommendation of your friend. The way that I see it, the higher the cost of a bad decision, the more research we need to do, the more people we need to speak to, the more testimonials we need to get, and finding out stories about how other people handled it and coped in different situations, and talking to multiple professionals, and whether that's in different fields or even in the same field, getting a second opinion or a third or fourth opinion, if you're able to, can also be really useful, at least for your own peace of mind, so that you know that you've been as thorough as you need to with the research that you're doing. So that's it for this video. I trust you found it useful. Let me know if you've got any comments or questions, pop them down below, and I'll see you next time.